Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm gonna be going over a health tank tech, immortality build for Wukong. Now, this build is gonna be relatively boring. I mean, because all you're doing is casting Well of Life, and then you're bonking everyone with the stick. So it's pretty much the core of the build. For the Archon shards, we're running 5 Tau Forge purples. If you want to replace these, you can. Um, so this build is gonna go one of two ways. Either A, you're going to replace his second ability with All of Life, or you're going to replace Defy with All of Life. The build is going to change depending on which one you want to replace. If you want to replace his 2 and rely on Defy for the armor, then you can afford to run all of these. If you want to replace Defy and keep his, Cloud Walker ability, whatever, then you might have to turn these into Tau Forged Reds instead of Tau Forged Purples. The reason why is because you're not going to be hitting the max energy over 500, so they're not going to activate. So 5 Tau Forged Reds would actually be better. And I can, well, I can't show you the build here, but I can show you like how that would look here. So what's going to happen is you're going to replace Defy, and then you're going to run all 3 Umbral mods. So you're going to be running all 3 of these. And then you're going to be filling in with Archon shards whatever you need, which is only going to be armor at that point. You're going to be filling in, like, let's say you hit 500 armor, you're going to run 1 Tau Forged blue, and then the rest can be Tau Forged reds. Because you need somewhere to put an armor mod, and you're not going to want to really replace any of these. So Prime Flow is most likely going to be the replacement. If you want to try to replace Blind Rage, you can. I don't recommend it, but to each their own. I definitely don't recommend it. I don't even think it would work if you did that. So Prime Flow is definitely going to be the thing that you replace. And then, Arcane Persistence needs the 700 armor, so you would just be looking at that. This build, the pros and cons of each is if you replace his 2, so essentially if you run this build right here the way it is, you need to rely on Defy to be able to give you the armor for Persistence to activate, which isn't hard. It's just something to keep up with. If you replace Defy and you keep the Cloudwalker, then you'll need to get that armor from other sources, aka Umbral Fiber, mixed with the other Umbral mods, Tau Forged Blue Archon shards, that kind of thing. You're going to need to get it from some other source. So that's out of the way. If anyone wants me to cover that specific build of if you were to replace Defy, how would that look, I can. The only reason why I did not do it here is because that's going to take a lot of investment. Which I can do, but if nobody really wants to see that and nobody really cares, then I'd rather not waste the resources on it. So just let me know if that's something you want to see, and if it is, and I know that there's an audience for it, then I can absolutely show you what that would look like. So for the mods, we're going to be running these. Feel free to pause at any point and read them if you need to see what they do or anything like that. We're running range because, Defy has a range. It doesn't really matter. I mean, his range is kind of meh, but... And then also Well of Life has a range, of course. So the main thing that we're running range for is the Well of Life. We want the Well of Life to give us a decent bit of range that we can actually do something with, not something, small where we have to be essentially hugging the Well of Life the entire time. And then for the Iron Staff Prime, this is just the build that I run. It's a melee exposure build with some stuff. Feel free to run an influence build if you want. I like the way that this build plays. So, and here's each of the mods and what they do. Feel free to pause at any point if you need to read what the mods do or anything like that. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I want to say about this build. And the next thing would be just getting into the gameplay.